deputy governor, it is important that the process be allowed to go through in line with the provisions of the Constitution.
Rivers Assembly begins impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara again.
Animal health has no boundary.
Federal government moves to curb livestock diseases with mass vaccination nationwide.
Nigerian cashew industry has the capacity to create jobs for over 50 million Nigerians.
Also tonight, NTA reports on Nigeria's cashew industry as the sector aims for a $10 billion boom with improved processing. Hello, good evening and warm welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jumwe Yusuf. Adeola Kamiakiri joins us tonight from Lagos. She will be bringing us up to speed with some news from that axis. Benny Adams is here in our Abuja studio for the business news. Benny, are we running with the bulls?
Yes, the bulls are getting the better part of the new year with investors in Nigeria's capital market smiling home with more than 140 billion naira. This is happening just as the federal government is also streamlining measures to ensure that tariffs benefit Nigerian exporters. We'll give you details in the course of the bulletin.
I will say a better 2026, and our own Francisca Bella is also on ground to bring us some of the latest news in the world of sports. Francisca, how are we doing at AFCON?
Of course, we're doing great, and the team just observed their first training session ahead of the quarter-final clash.
Well, we'll wait to see that, and remember you can follow this live broadcast on our channels on any of our social media handles displayed on the screen. And let's go to our survey. And tonight on our online survey, we want you to take on a fundamental question at the heart of our democracy, and that is the credibility of elections in Nigeria. The question for tonight is, do you support a repeal of the existing Electoral Act 2022 and replacement with an improved Electoral Act 2026, tailored to present realities? With persistent challenges and disputed outcomes fueling a national debate on the need for fundamental reform, we want to know your stance. Is our current electoral law sufficient, or do present realities demand a completely new legal framework? Let us know what you think and get the result at the end of the news. And we begin our reportage of latest events in the country with President Bola Tinubu praising corporate Nigeria citizens and other stakeholders in the Nigerian capital market for surpassing the 100 trillion naira milestone on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. President Tinubu described this record achievement as an inspiration for the investing public operating in the money and capital markets. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, says the President urged Nigerians to deepen their investments in the local economy, assuring that 2026 will yield even greater returns as his administration's economic reforms continue to deliver stronger outcomes. He said while in 2025 many of the world's markets struggled with stagnation or tepid recovery, the NGX All-Share Index was on the ascent, indicating that Nigeria is no longer a frontier market to be ignored. He said Nigeria is now a compelling destination where value is being discovered and where the stock market is a significant indicator of the country's economic health. The statement also says that President Tinubu has pledged to continue working unrelentingly to build an egalitarian, transparent and high-growth economy that will be further catalyzed by the historic tax and fiscal reforms that came into full implementation from January 1st. And now to Rivers State, where the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Martin Amahude, has described the inability of Governor Siminalayi Fubara to present the 2025 budget to the Assembly before spending as an impeachable offense. This formed part of the issues raised at the commencement of the impeachment proceedings against the governor during today's plenary at the State House of Assembly. Nkiru Onyejishi tells us more.
Leader of the House, Major Jack, who said the House was relying on Section 188 of the Constitution, ruled out 7 points of alleged gross misconduct against Governor Fubara, including the demolition of the House of Assembly complex, extra budgetary spending, and withholding of the funds meant for the Assembly Service Commission. Supporting the motion, Deputy Leader Linda Stewart also brought forward a notice of gross misconduct against the Deputy Governor, Professor Ngozi Odu.
Gross misconduct 1. Reckless and unconstitutional expenditure of public funds contrary to sections 120, 121, paragraph 1 and 2, and 122 of the Constitution.
Speaker of the House, Martin Amehule, alleged that the inability of the governor and his deputy to present the 2025 budget before spending is an offense and a threat to democracy.
26 members of the Livestock Assembly have brought allegations against the governor and the deputy governor. It is important that the process be allowed to go through in line with the provisions of the Constitution.
This is the second time the Rivers State House of Assembly is initiating an impeachment process against Governor Fubara over the same allegations. In Port Harcourt, Nkiru Onyejesi, NTA News.
In the meantime, residents of Port Harcourt, Rivers State capital, have called for peace following the impeachment notice initiated against Governor Siminalayi Fubara by the Rivers State House of Assembly. Some of the people who spoke with Robinson Dara today described the development as an act capable of throwing the state into another round of political crisis.
Governance in Rivers State has witnessed hiccups arising from issues which culminated in the declaration of emergency rule, seen as a major intervention by the president to restore peace in the state. The latest development from Rivers State House of Assembly, which has commenced impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara, according to some residents of Port Harcourt, seems to reflect the uprising of pending issues. Some of them who said the House of Assembly has the right to carry out its legislative functions called for peaceful resolution of all political issues in the interest of the state.
Is this one too big for anybody the both party to reconcile? It's not too big. It has happened, we have reconciled. So what is there? For the betterment of Rivers State, for the development of Rivers State, they should reconcile. They should withdraw whatever impeachment notice they sent to the governor.
So this whole political crisis, up and down, impeachment, no impeachment, is not good for the state.
Let the 3 tiers of government function. Executive should do their work, judiciary should do their work, and legislators should do their work. So it's not something to panic for. They also urge stakeholders and political gladiators in the state to intervene, as the situation could lead to another round of crisis in Rivers State. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Darateide, NTA News.
And we're making effort to link up with Robinson in Port Harcourt for him to give us a situation report on what is actually happening and how the mood of the state is at the moment. But we hope to link up with him. We'll bring him up for an interview in the course of the news. And now Nigeria is intensifying efforts to attract Spanish investors, aiming to reposition its economy as a strategic bridge between Europe and Africa. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, is making the push at a high-level engagement with Spain's leading business confederation, the Spanish Confederation of Business Organizations. A statement by the Minister's media aide, Alcacin Abdulkadir, says the meeting is a deliberate move to reset Nigeria's bilateral economic relationship with Spain. He says the minister highlighted Nigeria's reform trajectory, demographic advantage, and continental trade access, while aligning with Spain's economic and migration policy interest. And the year 2025 was an engaging one for the Federal Road Safety Corps, especially with efforts and initiatives of boosting its drive towards meeting up with the UN Decade of Action of reducing road traffic crashes by 50%. Some of the major issues of concern to the Corps include mixed loading by truck drivers, overspeeding, and driving under the influence of alcohol. Oyeyemi Ajayi brings us up to speed on how the Corps fared in 2025.
Towards the late 2024, there were crescendo of fuel scooping and siphoning activities from fallen tankers, which caused death of many. This was one major challenge the Federal Safety Corps faced headlong to quell, and as time passed, campaigns and awareness became regular in this, educating Nigerians on the need to desist from such activities. Aside these, mixed loading, overspeeding as well as driving against traffic were referred to as major contributors to road traffic crashes in the country. There was as well the crackdown on motorists with fake number plates with the arrest of many. Of major concern to Nigerians is the issue of delayed driver's license issuance, which the Corps swing into action to change.
We have activated plans to overcome perennial challenges associated with delays in obtaining the driver's license and number plates. Our printing facility has been upgraded to print an average of 15,000 driver's licenses daily.
In the period under review, about 30 million passengers traveled using 2.3 million vehicles across the country, with Anambra and Kano states having the highest volume of movements. Some recalcitrant officers were arrested and prosecuted by the Corps after being apprehended for a series of offences, including extorting innocent public. On the 27th June 2025 in Lusaka, Zambia, the Federal Safety Corps was announced the Secretariat of the African Association of the Road Safety Lead Agencies, a feat which earns Nigeria the status of producing the Executive Secretary of the Regional Association. Recalcitrant motorists were arrested and prosecuted through mobile courts. As the 2030 United Nations Decade of Action continues to count down, the Corps says it will not relent in its hours of strengthening and boosting efforts of achieving 50% reduction in road traffic crashes in the country, and won't stop initiating ideas of achieving the goal, while echoing that road safety is everyone's business. Hence, all hands must remain on deck to ensure sanity and safety on the highways. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
And in Sokoto, the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development is stepping up efforts to eradicate transboundary animal diseases and promote efficient, resilient and sustainable livestock production across Nigeria. This follows the flag off of the nationwide mass animal vaccination exercise under the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project in Sokoto State, marking a significant milestone in strengthening the country's animal health system. Yusuf Jika reports.
Although only 20 states have subscribed to the World Bank Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project, but this vaccination exercise is to be carried out in all the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, and the reason is simple. Animal health is critical to the growth and development of the livestock industry and the general well-being of the people. A total of 18.2 million doses of vaccines have been earmarked for the exercise targeting foot and mouth disease, contagious bovine pleuropneumonia, Pes dispetis ruminants, and Newcastle disease.
Animal health has no boundary, so we go for 36 states and FCT. And in each state, we collaborate with the DVS, the Director of Veterinary Service, and the relevant state government apparatus to do the inoculation.
The Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Meha, alongside the Sokoto State Governor, Ahmed Aliyu, also inaugurated the third in a series of 21 state-of-the-art L-Press model veterinary hospitals in Sokoto. The facility is expected to serve as a hub for improved animal health service delivery in the state.
The edifice we are going to commission today has modern surgical theaters for both elective and emergency animal surgeries, well-furnished consulting rooms for clinical interventions, diagnostic laboratory for accurate and timely disease diagnosis, radiology unit providing specialized X-ray services for fractures and other orthopedic conditions. We are committed to utilizing and maintaining this facility to the best of our ability.
The hospital is additionally equipped with ambulatory services to cater for animal health emergencies, particularly in hard-to-reach and underserved communities. In Sokoto, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. And in Kano, no fewer than 30,000 artisans from the Northwest under the Industrial Training Fund ITF program tagged Super have graduated after completing a 2-year training. Aisha Uba Ali reports that the phases of the training align with the present administration's Renewed Hope initiative, aimed at empowering Nigerian youths by providing access to skills acquisition, capacity building, and wider economic opportunities.
This marks the successful completion and official closure of the 2-year Skill Up Artisans Training tagged the Super Program in the Northwest. Kano, a city renowned for commerce, craftsmanship, industry, and resilience, is home to a large youth population where skills are highly valued. Many young people are taking advantage of the program to build sustainable futures. Abubakar, alongside other trainees, is among the thousands of beneficiaries of the Super Program in the Northwest. A fashion designer, he says the training has improved his employability through a modern business approach that emphasizes practical, hands-on experience rather than classroom theory alone.
Thank God for being part of the selected second phase Renew Hope initiative.
Now I want to thank the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for initiating this program.
With thousands of youth in Kano and across the Northwest now empowered with skills in electrical installation, animal husbandry, ICT, fashion design, carpentry, and other trades, the objective is clear: transforming skills into sustainable livelihoods and turning artisans like Abubakar into certified professionals.
The youth of Nigeria is being considered by government. This is the only global policy that has put artisans and artisanal practice into the limelight. We have the advantage of a youth population that can go out there and make Nigeria proud.
Super was designed to recognize, strengthen, and elevate the millions of Nigerian artisans.
In Kano, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
And meanwhile, in Damaturu, Yobe State, 89,000 vulnerable men, women and youth are said to be employed to drive the Renewed Hope Ward Development Initiative in the 178 political wards of the state. Secretary to the state government, Baba Malam Wali, disclosed this at a high-level stakeholders engagement representing Governor Maimala Abuni. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
Is a high-level stakeholders engagement, bringing together legislators, government officials, local government chairmen and youth groups, among others, to discuss objectives, mission, vision and implementation strategies of the Renewed Hope World Development Initiative that seeks to bring development and hope to rural areas in the state.
The purpose of this very, very important meeting, stakeholders engagement, is to start registration of our youth and women in order for especially youth and women. And out of the people, especially now, 500 people will be enrolled in each ward. And out of that, 30% will be female and 70% will be male.
Making sure the economic reforms of the federal government gets down quickly. This economic mapping is to identify each ward with its unique potential and then tailor the support to be given to individuals towards such kind of economic activities.
The empowerment program is a replica of the federal government's Renewed Hope initiative, with local government coordinators appointed to oversee registration and enrollment of the targeted population in the state. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Thank you, Nusa. And let's go to Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Like we told you earlier, we'll be joining Robinson Dara today for more on the situation in the state. And Robinson, has anything changed since this morning's event by the state lawmakers against the governor? And what have you gleaned sort of from perhaps some political elders in the state since speaking with a cross-section of the people? What are the elites saying?
The truth is that most people are a bit restrained in speaking concerning the development, but the few people we spoke with are of the opinion that since the two warring factions are now in the same political family, the political party and the hierarchy of the government should call them to order and settle their disagreements. The truth is, Rivers people were not expecting this impeachment notice today. They the Assembly members have been on recess since 5th of December 2025, and they promised to resume on the 26th of January, only for them to call off the recess today and announce impeachment notice on the governor. So what they are saying is that whatever that might be the disagreement can still be resolved, especially when the president had called them to order before. So they are still expecting that the same measure that was taken to settle them before will still be taken by the elders of the state and also the hierarchy of the APC where they all belong to.
So any response to any reaction from the governor's side?
Up till now, there is no any response or reaction from the governor's side. We are not also very sure if the governor is in town. There are different opinions concerning that, whether he's in the state or he's not in the state. But certainly, from what the assembly members have said, that they will send the notice to him. We are not sure whether he has officially been served, but for now, he has not said anything. But there is an indication that the governor may also be aware of this development, because just a few weeks ago, he appointed the Attorney General of the state, one of the commissioners that was serving in the Ministry of Transport. So that is also a development that everything may be in order in the next few days.
Okay, Robinson, thank you so much. We'll be coming to you in subsequent bulletin to, get, an idea of how the situation is unfolding in Port Harcourt. Thank you so much for giving us a perspective. And as a way of giving back to the society, the Gideon and Joy Life and Leadership Foundation has organized a free medical outreach and New Year celebration for over 3,000 indigent widows, women and vulnerable children drawn from Ohanivo Federal Constituency in Ebonyi State. Ijoma Peter Nweti reports that the founder, Dr. Gideon Chidebere Osi, is the Chief Executive Officer, Kosima Group of Companies.
The over 3,000 indigent widows, women and vulnerable children from Ohozara, Onitsha and Ivo local government areas of Ebonyi State were given free medical consultation, eye check with free glasses, dental care, drugs, among other surgical procedures. The beneficiaries, while narrating their ordeal before the succor came their way, commended the initiator, Dr. Gideon Chidebere Osi, stressing that the treatment will go a long way to tackle their health challenges.
When you consider the cost of going outside to go for medical checkup, it weighs you down because there's no hospital here. So this is a very good opportunity for many of us.
It surprises us what they do for us. So it makes us happy well.
The more the position you fight, remember the masses.
The founder, Dr. Gideon Chidebere Osi, explained that the initiative is an annual event since 2008.
Whatever we spend on providing free healthcare program to the poor, to the needy and the elderly, and helping them to do surgery, to remove cataract and region, and help them to see again, that gives me fulfillment.
Dr. Osi also hosted some of the beneficiaries of his scholarship across the country, where he commended them for their excellent performances in their various schools. The Gideon and Joy Life and Leadership Foundation, powered by Kosima Group, having pledged to continue to put smiles on the faces of the people as part of its service to God and humanity, also distributed writing materials and bags of rice to vulnerable children and widows. In Abakaliki, Ijoma Peter Nweti, NTA News.
And we'll be joining Lagos now as we bring in Adeola for the latest news from that axis. Hello, Adeola.
Thank you, Jumai, for joining us in Lagos.
At the beginning of every year, citizens have several expectations from government, ranging from fiscal discipline and transparency to improved standard and infrastructure projects. Now, these expectations may build on existing initiative, renewed or newly proposed projects. As 2026 unfolds, Nigerians have been making their expectations known. What are they? Larry Belay has details.
Democratic setting, there's always this expectation from the governed to the government. The expectations are still there from Lagosians, from Nigerians in 2026. What are they?
More focus to be on local governments, because the state governors are reluctant to grant them the autonomy acceded to by the Supreme Court. They don't want to let go of the control they have over local governments.
That is where you want changes?
Yes. It's in the hands of the governors. The Supreme Court has given them that permission or that directive.
Good enough bills are coming out in the area of rent and tenants and landlords. So those bills, I think government should be serious about them and implement them.
Okay, personally, I will love the government, especially the government of Lagos State, to focus more on infrastructure, particularly roads and waste management. That two area for me is what I personally think, if they are able to solve that, at least to a large extent, Lagos State will be more conducive, especially for people that are willing to come in and invest in the state.
The government also aims to achieve a $1 trillion GDP by 2026 with a focus on energy, agribusiness, manufacturing, and digital services. Other expectations are sustained efforts at ensuring security of lives and property, inclusive government implementation of reforms, youth empowerment, particularly at the state and local government levels, Nigerians agreed should be prioritized. In Lagos, Larry Belay, NTA News.
Strengthen mentorship and leadership development remains a key challenge in Nigeria's quest for sustainable community growth. That challenge formed the focus of a Ketsa visit by a committee of a Muslim Refresher Course program to the Nigerian Television Authority, Lagos Network Center. Our Yusuf Jibo reports.
The delegation, made up of academics and professionals across different age groups, described the visit as an opportunity to reinforce long-standing values of mentorship, succession and service to society. According to members of the delegation, the Refresher Course program, initiated in 1994, has provided a platform that has prepared thousands of young Nigerians academically seeking admission into tertiary institutions.
I believe this issue of insecurity, this issue of unemployment that we are having, I think these are some of the things that we need to do in order to take care of them, because if you educate people, hardly you will see them going into this kind of thing.
We have so many professors, doctors, and various graduates from various universities to our credit. So, alhamdulillah, I can say so far so good we have addressed that issue. Even if we stopped it now, we have achieved our aim and objective.
Zonal Director, NTA2 Lagos Network Center, Evelyn Nwosu, represented, thanked the members for choosing NTA and also commended their efforts and impact made over the years.
You need to do publicity. Do you know what it is, sir, with due respect, to take somebody from the darkness of ignorance and bring him into the light of knowledge? What you are doing today is something that will go beyond you and go beyond your successors.
The visit, which forms part of the program's annual Leaders Tour, underscores the group's commitment to leadership development, mentorship, and community service while strengthening ties with key national institutions. In Lagos, Awad Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Lagos.
You're welcome back. And earlier today in Abuja, Nigeria and Africa's most influential unionist, activist and statesman gathered to honor Comrade Hassan Somono a labor icon and organizer, and to remind the new generation of how justice was organized, defended and preserved. Our correspondent Ibrahim Hamidu tells us more.
This book does not shout, and in its pages, Comrade Hassan Sumonu documents 6 decades of struggle. At the Shehu Musa Eradua Center in Abuja, Nigeria's Labour family gathered. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo reflected on a defining era when, he said, Nigeria's labour movement broke free from foreign ideological control.
And that got out KGB and CIA from our labour union.
Voices that helped defeat apartheid, strengthen democracy, and organize resistance through solidarity rather than violence.
So kudos to you, Mr. Somano. As you launch your book, Comrade Somano and his colleagues who are of immense support.
In the book's mantra, organize, don't agonize, tactics, trials, and triumphs from 6 decades in the trenches, Hassan Sumonu documents a lifetime of labor.
So we have to be asking our leaders the hard questions. What have they done with our resources?
I'm Ibrahim Danhamidu, NTA News.
A nostalgic feeling down memory lane. And now Nigeria's downstream oil market is witnessing a rare relief for motorists as increased competition among marketers continues to drive petrol pump price down. In Abuja, our energy correspondent Lydia Sampson reports that while some petrol stations are virtually empty, despite having products, others are experiencing higher patronage.
Fuel attendants beckoning motorists to their dispensing stations. Across Nigeria, queues are thinning out at filling stations, while petrol stations offering the most affordable rates are visibly enjoying uninterrupted demand.
They are selling 739 naira per litre, so compared to other filling stations. So it's because of that. That's why people are trooping in here.
A lot of oil drivers have said that the fuel from here stays longer in your machine. It takes longer to burn. And I've tried it once or twice. I think I've enjoyed it. And that's why I'm here. I don't mind to wait a little while in order to get a better deal.
There's availability of petrol, but some stations are simply overwhelmed because of prices. But in a nutshell, why do you think people are trooping your petrol station?
Okay, first of all, I would like to commend Dangote for being indigenous, for bringing the refinery to Nigeria and giving individuals at a very low cost. There are queues here because of the low cost. We are selling at 739, while others are doing 830, 835 like that.
Very happy motorists applaud the competition and express hope that more price reductions will follow as supply stabilizes and import costs ease. Already in major cities, several independent and retail outlets have been cutting price, with some selling lower than 800 naira per litre, a drop that commuters and motorists want to go even lower.
It's not, I don't think it's coming down the way we want it. Yes, I think the competition should bring it lower.
Well, basically, I think we should applaud the government for bringing it down, and we still want more of the price coming down.
They attribute the development to intensified rivalry among private marketers who are striving to attract customers in a fully deregulated environment. The healthy competition for many is a sign that market forces are gradually taking effect. However, industry experts caution that sustained lower prices will depend on exchange rates, global crude trend, and domestic refining capacity. But for now, many Nigerians see the emerging price war as the most welcome news in months and a glimpse of what true market liberalization could mean for consumers. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Now let's join Benny Adams for trending news in the world of business. Benny?
Thank you, Jumai. We'll start business by telling you that Nigeria's Tariff Review Board has convened as part of ongoing tariff review process, bringing together key ministries, the Central Bank of Nigeria, manufacturers and other stakeholders to align with fiscal policies and current the needs of the industrial and manufacturing sectors. The Minister of State Finance, Dr. Doris Anite, who convened the meeting, says the focus is clear. It is to create a tariff structure that encourages local production, protects homegrown businesses and eases the cost of doing business in Nigeria. It is also to ensure the country's tariff framework remains competitive and aligns with Nigeria's bilateral and international trade commitments. A major outcome was the call to strengthen monitoring and evaluation of trade, fiscal and monetary incentives, as well as reinforcing the need for a coordinated whole-of-government approach to deliver balanced, credible and growth-driven tariff decisions using data-driven insights. And moving on, a total of 521 digital lender companies have now come under the regulatory purview of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, that is, the FCCPC, as the consumer watchdog moves to sanitize Nigeria's fast-growing digital credit market. This comes as the January 5 deadline for full compliance with digital, electronic, online and non-traditional consumer lending regulations 2025 lapses. The FCCPC had directed all digital lenders, whether app-based or online or operating through other non-traditional channels, to register with the Commission and comply with the new regulations on or before January 5, 2026. With the deadline now passed, the regulator's records indicate a significant increase in the number of companies submitting to oversight, reflecting both heightened enforcement and a rapid expansion of Nigeria's digital lending ecosystem. And in other news, India plans to end 5-year-old restrictions on Chinese firms bidding for government contracts. That's according to two sources. The caps were imposed in 2020 after a deadline clashed between the country's troops. The rules required Chinese bidders to register with an Indian government committee and obtain political and security clearance. The measures effectively banned Chinese firms from competing for Indian government contracts, estimated to be worth up to $750 billion. A source says a final decision to remove the restrictions will be moved by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's office. New Delhi wants to revive commercial ties as diplomatic ties with Beijing have eased. Modi recently visited China for the first time in 7 years and agreed to build deeper commercial ties. And a quick look at the markets at the end of transaction today across major stocks in Africa. The Nigerian investors went home with 137.35 billion naira, with market capitalization closing at 102.82 trillion naira. On the aggregate, 130 listed companies participated in trading, ending with 32 gainers and 41 losers. For South Africa, it saw a dip of 0.85%, while the Tunisia index was also down 0.24%, which means there is still an opportunity for investors in South Africa as well as Tunisia to invest in the BS. That is it on business at this time.
Thank you, Benny, and I see business is doing good.
Yeah, sure.
Now we hear that Nigeria's cashew industry has the potential to rake in up to $10 billion in annual revenue and generate millions of jobs. This is said to be achieved through improvement in production, processing and packaging. Musa Baba Aliu has the details.
Nigeria is a major player in global cashew production, ranking among the top producers in Africa and the world. Cashew is largely produced in states primarily in the southern and middle belt regions. Investigation revealed that production in Nigeria is often underreported due to informal trade and undocumented exports.
As it is, the Nigerian cashew industry has the capacity to create jobs for over 50 million Nigerians if it is properly harnessed.
In 2023, however, Nigeria's cashew production was estimated at around 234,000 metric tons, though export volumes suggest higher actual figure. For the 2025 harvest season, production is implied to exceed 400,000 metric tons, based on export figures with the National Cashew Association of Nigeria. Nigeria is to host 2026 National Conference as part of activities marking World Cashew Day.
We don't want to produce inorganic cashew. We are promoting our organic cashew because that is where the interest is. We have the land, we have the population, we have the financial capacity.
Cashew accounted for 12.35% of Nigeria's non-oil exports in the last reported period, with overall non-oil exports surging 21% year-on-year. Africa overall cashew market is growing, with the continent's production valued at $856 million in 2024 and projected to reach $1.19 billion by 2033. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
We'll take another break. The news continues. Now let's join Francisca for the latest in the world of sports. Francisca?
Hello, Jumai. Welcome to Sports Update. Now, Nigeria Super Eagles observed their first training session in Marrakesh on Thursday evening at the Grand Stade Annex to Morocco. The team arrived at Marrakesh Airport around 4:20 p.m. preparing for their 2025 Africa Cup of Nations quarter-final match against Algeria's Desert Foxes. Previously, the Super Eagles were based in Fez, where they played all their group stage matches and the round of 16, winning every game at the Complex Sportive de Fez. Saturday's match against Algeria will take place at Stade Marrakesh, with kickoff scheduled for 5 p.m. Nigerian time. The victor will advance to the semi-finals to face either host Morocco or Cameroon. Meanwhile, Senegal will play Mali on Friday for a spot in the semi-finals. The Lions of Teranga remain unbeaten, having comfortably defeated all but one of their opponents. Meanwhile, the federal government confirmed that the Super Eagles match bonuses for the ongoing tournament have cleared all necessary regulatory approvals. According to a statement from the Minister of State for Finance, Doris Uzoka Nete, payment will be credited to the players' domiciliary accounts starting this Thursday or Friday. The minister also addressed prior administrative delays that had affected disbursement during the tournament. To volleyball stakeholders at the 6th edition of the Anthony Elemi Gekpe volleyball competition in Itigidi Abi local government area of Cross River State have emphasized that sustained investment in grassroots sports development is a power tool for youth engagement and social transformation. According to them, supporting sport at the community level will not only provide meaningful opportunities for young people, but also promote peace, stimulate job creation, and help identify and nurture future sports stars for national and international success.
Our youths are always looking forward to these events because my own desire is to see them beyond the state level.
It is very basic. It identifies with the interests of the grassroots. You can see everybody is here. People are happy, and it increases their own ability to see beyond their immediate.
That's it in sports. Is back to you, Jumai.
Francisca, thank you so much. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu mourns the passing of 82-year-old Emeritus Professor Seth Sunday Ajayi, a pioneer in wildlife and fisheries management. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the President notes Ajayi's work earned him global recognition, including the UNEP's Global 500 Roll of Honor in 1994 and Nigeria's National Order of Merit in 2013. President Tinubu extends condolences to Ajayi's family, friends, and the Nigerian environmental sciences community, praying for the repose of his soul. President Tinubu has also condoled with Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, her husband Dr. Ivara Esege, and the entire family on the passing of their son, Nkanu Nnamdi. In a letter to the family, President Tinubu says, as a parent himself who has suffered the loss of a loved one, no grief is as devastating as losing a child. He empathized and prayed for the family and mourned the sad loss with them. And now our survey result is in. Our survey result is in with 57.3% of respondents in support of a full overhaul of the Electoral Act 2022. Yet 29.3% of our respondents insist the National Assembly should amend the existing law without necessarily repealing the existing act. Incidentally, only 13.3% of the respondents are unsure of what has to be done and say they need more details in order to come to a decision. And that's NTA Network News for tonight. Thank you so much. On behalf of the crew, I am Jumwe Yusuf. Thank you for your time.